Hello. Hey, hello. Can you all hear me? Hi. Can you hear me? Can I can is it? Oh, thank you. Hi. Hello. We are gonna start in about 2 more minutes, okay? Hi. Hi. We're gonna start soon, okay? In about less than 1 minute. Hi. Hello. Hi. Yeah, all the best. How is your listening compre today? How is the listening compre today? Yeah, I know. Easy. Wow, I'm so confident. That's good. Easy. Okay, I'm gonna start. All right. So time is up. Okay, so oh, Chinese is easier than English. That's good. Okay. All right. So wow, for your thing in Chinese easier. Okay, just let y'all know. Okay, that there would be. Okay. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, anyway, you all like to ask, right? That whether today got Kahoot. There will be, okay, later on. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start. Okay. So let me take a look. Okay. So over here, right? Today, let me just a gentle reminder. Okay, there is actually the weekly online class. Okay, which is for P5, P6 for all the subjects except for Chinese. All right, and secondary 1 and 2 math. All right. No booklet. Yeah. CW, the one I don't know which one you're talking about if you just straight up tell me like that. If you have to tell the center, whatever center you are in, okay? If you notice something. You tell me I wouldn't know what you're thinking. I wouldn't know what is it also. Okay. All right. So let me. Wow, you're so happy today. Okay, so let me start with today's worksheet, which is the TikTok worksheet. Okay, so now we're gonna still do the PSLE revision. Okay, so all right, we are gonna start with question 1. So if you know the answer, you can send in to me. Okay, through the chat. Let me know. Okay, so yes, octopus. Okay, so now let's look at this one. Question 1. Okay, so question 1 it says that the diagrams below shows the circulatory system of two organisms. All right, we have a fish and a human. Okay, so take note, we have fish here, human here. Okay, and they already identified for you. This one is the fish circulatory system, and this one is the human circulatory system. Okay, so over here, based on the above diagrams, which of the following statements are true? Okay, can? Oh what are you talking about? CW. You let me know which you need to be specific about which envelope you're talking about. If not, we cannot find. We don't know what you're talking about also. Okay, okay. All right. So over here, okay, which one of the statements are true? So what happened is that you need to know. Always make it a good habit to identify the path. Okay, so that means what do I mean by identifying the path? Always label your blood vessels. Okay, can? All right. So over here, what happens is that identify your blood vessels. Okay, you can see that A is actually sending blood from the lungs. All right. So for this, need to send blood from. This is from the lungs. Okay. You see, I've seen mixed answers 1 and 2. Okay. Let me tell you all what. Okay. The answer is 1. Okay. Huh? Because we share one. Not all of us do this. Yeah, I mean, not, yeah, sometimes you see another teacher also. Yeah, okay. So what happened is that always label your blood vessels. A is sending blood from the lungs. All right. And you all must understand that if it's from the lungs, right, it means that your lungs helps to replenish the oxygen. All right. So if it's replenish, if it's no, no, we all teach all the levels. Okay. So if the lungs have to replenish oxygen, what happens is that blood vessels that's coming out from the lungs and going back to the different parts of the body would have the highest amount of oxygen. Okay, okay? All right, highest amount of oxygen. Okay, so then what happens is next, okay, B. If you look at B, it's actually sending blood to the lungs. Make it a good habit to label your vessels. Okay, can? All right. So now to the lungs. Okay, so if you're sending blood back to the lungs, you need to think, would you want to send blood that is high amount of oxygen or low amount of oxygen back to the lungs? Okay, so you need to know that you want to send low amount of oxygen back to the lungs because your lungs helps to replenish oxygen. Okay, so those that is sending blood to the lungs will have the least amount of oxygen. 2 arrows down means the least. Okay, then after that, take note that your heart uses up oxygen for what? You know for what? Your heart uses oxygen for what? Any idea? Any idea? Oh, okay. No, no, no. Your heart uses your heart actually uses oxygen for respiration. Okay? Can so good. So your heart uses oxygen for respiration. So right, what happens is the high amount of oxygen that enters the heart from A, okay, and after that the heart pumps it to different parts of the body. Okay, what happened is that the blood that you send to the other parts will still have high amount of oxygen, but not the highest. This is P6, okay? P6. All right, so but not the highest. So take note, it's just high amount of oxygen, not the highest. Okay? Okay? So then what happened is that your body will actually use up a lot of oxygen for respiration. All right? So when your body use up a lot of oxygen for respiration, it will become low in oxygen. And this is blood that is coming from the other parts of the body. All right, Ken? Okay, so now let's look at this one. All right, so what happens is that, okay, you need to know that for this part, same thing, okay, the gills of the fish helps in, remember the gills, what does it do? Do you want to remember what does gills do? Do you remember what does gills do? Help the fish to do what? Yeah, don't say breathe. Helps to take in oxygen, help to exchange gases. Very good. So the gills actually helps in gaseous exchange. If you write down to breathe in exam, then you will lose marks, okay? Gaseous exchange. All right. Respire is a bit different. Respiration happens in your cells. It doesn't occur at the gills. Same things. Okay, we don't say that. We say that the lungs help to take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. It's slightly different from respiration. Okay, can? Okay, slightly different. All right, respiration is to get energy. Is when you take your oxygen, okay, take your digested food and convert it to energy. Then we call that respiration. That happens in all your cells. Okay, not special, not especially just the gills or the lungs. All right, okay. Okay, so for this we say gaseous exchange. All right. Okay, okay. Okay, so over here, after that, when your gills helps the plant, help the fish to go through gaseous exchange, it will take in oxygen, right? So what happens is the one then for the fish, what happens is that it doesn't go through the heart again. It goes directly to the rest of the body. Okay, so for this, you will send high amount of oxygen to other parts of the body. All right, and your body will use up the oxygen, so the oxygen level become low, and then the heart will use up some oxygen, so it become even lower at Z. Okay? Okay, so a lot of you say I seen one, two, no, now got three. Okay, so the correct answer is actually one. All right, so why is it one? Yes. Okay, so based on the diagram, which of the following statements are true, right? So for this, they said that only blood vessels A, D, and X carry bloods rich in oxygen. And that is true because A just comes out from the lungs, X just come out from the gills, so definitely high amount of oxygen. And you want to send high amount of oxygen to your other parts of the body. Okay, so for this is true. I am going to choose this. Okay? Yes. Okay. Oh, for this, next, okay? Oh no, please have more confidence in yourself. So let's look at B. Okay, only blood vessels B, C, and Z carry blood that is rich in carbon dioxide. So over here, you see B, C, and Z. Okay, but it's not only these blood vessels because Y is also considered high in carbon dioxide because the fish's body used up most of the oxygen, it respired the most, and it gives out the most amount. It gives out a lot of carbon dioxide already. Okay, so it's not only B, C, and Z and Z. B, C, and Z. It also includes Y. Okay, so let's write this one down. Y also. Okay, okay. Yes. And for C, both fish and human depend only on the heart to remove carbon dioxide from the body. Take note, we wouldn't say that it depend only on the heart. Okay, the heart need to transport the blood carrying all this to the lungs for the fish to the gills. So it's not only the heart that's involved. Okay, the gills and the lungs also help to give out carbon dioxide and remove it from the body. Okay, so for this, C is wrong. Your answer is supposed to be number one. Very good. Hey, have more confidence in yourself. I'm sure you can do it. Here, everyone clear? Got any questions for this? No? Okay, again? Okay, so let's move on, okay? So, hi. Hi, Ashton. Okay, so let's move on to 2. Okay, so for question 2, I show you the first part first. All right. So over here, they say that the diagram below shows the movement of a basketball as it falls. This is your topic on energy. Okay, so as it falls from position A through the basket, hits the ground and bounces up again. All right. So which of the following statements are true? Okay, so now they're asking for the statements that's true. You have to read the question properly. Okay, over here it says that, all right, just take note. All right, the for A, right, it is at the highest point. So can you tell me if it's at the highest point? Okay, A is at the highest. Okay, what kind of energy does it have? Very good, and it has the most gravitational potential energy because it's at the highest point. Okay? Why kinetic? Highest point, most gravitational potential energy, not kinetic, okay? Okay, and over here, what happens is that, all right, it hits the pole, okay, and yes, okay, and what happens is that there is movement throughout, okay, the from B to C to D, A, B, C, D, there's a lot of movement throughout, okay? So which of the following statements is true? So take note that at A, it says that some of the energy was converted to heat and sound energy as the ball hits the ground at C. What do you, okay? So, okay, are you, right hand, you're 34. You sure? Okay, so over here, all right, what happens is that at C, can you tell me what will happen at C? When an object comes in contact with another surface, what will happen? Any idea? There would be what? I've seen three, I've seen one, JJ, thank you. It's friction. There will be heat. Yes, YS, yes, Ashton, very good. So there would be friction, right? So when there is friction, okay, over here, take note, okay, there's friction. Okay, and when there's friction, what happens when there's friction is that some kinetic energy, KE, would actually be converted to heat energy plus sound energy. Okay, the correct answer is actually one. Okay, let me tell you why. Okay, let me tell you why. Yes, very good. Thank you. Okay, so what happens is that this would then be true. A is true because at C there's friction and some of the kinetic energy will be converted to heat and sound. Okay, then what about B? B says that gravitational potential energy in the ball was converted to kinetic energy as it moves from A to B. It, this is what? This is true. Yes, this is also true, right? So take note. Okay, in order for the ball to move, all the potential energy that's stored in the ball must be converted to kinetic energy because kinetic energy is movement energy. Okay, so if an object have no kinetic energy, it will not be moving. All right, Ken? Okay, so over here, this is true. Okay, so next, C. C says that the gravitational force acting at acting at point D, at this point, is actually less than the amount of gravitational force acting at point A. Okay, can you remember? This is force. Take note, this is force, not energy. There is a slight difference between gravitational potential energy and gravitational force. So can you tell me, gravitational force is affected by what? Thank you, Kai. Oh, Gino is alive? Okay. You believe the K-pop demon hunter Gino is alive? Okay. Yes, very good, Ashton. Yes, Kai is affected by mass. Alright, so here, did the mass change? Did the ball magically change its mass along the way? Yes, yes, Octopus, thank you. Okay. No, right? The ball's mass didn't change along the way. It is still the same mass. So the gravitational pull that's acting on the ball remains the same. Okay? So over here, this is wrong because the gravitational pull acting on the ball will remain the same. Same mass, same gravitational force. Okay, so C is out. Okay, now you all know why C is out. Okay, so what about D? The ball possesses no kinetic energy at position D. That is totally wrong because you can see D is still moving higher, right? So it is still moving. As long as it's still moving, there will be kinetic energy. Okay, so D is wrong. So your answer is supposed to be number one. Okay, Ken? Why got people still say four, not four? Answer number one. It's still moving, so you cannot say no kinetic energy. Okay, Ken? Alright, so I'm gonna move on. Any questions for this? You need motivation. All the best for your PSLE. If you miss, then you have to watch the recording, okay? Can because yeah. I only can tell you the answer for that question is one. The explanation part of this you have to watch the recording. Okay? Can okay, I'm gonna move on to three. Okay, so for three, right? Okay, they say that if you all know the answer, you please let me know, okay? So the diagrams below shows a cross section of a toaster, and diagram A shows two springs, okay, at their original length when the bread is put into the toaster. So what happened is that diagram B shows how the two spring has been extended when the bread is lowered into the toaster. So after the bread is toasted, okay, let me go up a bit. The spring will return to its original length as usual, okay? Elastic elastic spring force, elastic potential energy is present in objects that can return back to its original length. All right, and the bread will pop out. Okay, so how could the toaster be modified so that the bread can pop up higher? So if I want it to pop up higher, how to get the paper? The paper is available in our, you can go to our page. If not, you can just type AGrader TikTok Live. On Google, you will get directed to the website, and then if you click TikTok, then yeah, you can see today's date, then you can download the worksheets from there. Okay, can? All right. So based on this, very good. Thank you, Mushroom. Okay, so over here, I want it to pop up higher, means that I want it to have more force. Okay, so pop up higher, more force, right? So that means I want to have more elastic spring force. All right, so if I want it to have more elastic spring force, okay, it means that what can I do? Okay, if I there are a few ways that I can increase the amount of elastic spring force. Okay, firstly, if I use a stiffer spring. Why? Stiffer spring will exert more force when it is stretched to the same length as a spring that is less stiff. Okay, can? So this one, take note, the extension will be the same for this. Okay, so what happened is that if I replace with stiffer spring, it will have more elastic spring force acting on the toaster. Okay, the video will also be uploaded. Yes, thank you, Ashton. Also be uploaded on our website. Okay, can, so you go our website and see. Okay, so more elastic spring force. All right. So with more elastic spring force, it will push the bread higher. Okay. So if I use a bread of lesser mass, take note, lesser mass, the force is still the same. Okay. So and I want to modify the toaster, not the bread. So I cannot choose B. Read the question properly. I need to modify the toaster. They never ask you to modify the bread. Okay, so don't be careless and choose all of the above. Please don't be careless, okay? This is not modifying the toaster. Okay, you're modifying the bread. Alright, so it's not answering the question. Okay, okay? So for C, add another similar spring to each side of the toaster. Yes, very good. I've seen most of you writing your answer 3. Yes, why? Why if I add another spring? It will be better because another spring will provide more force. There will be more elastic spring force acting on to the bread. Okay? Alright, so for this, my answer is supposed to be number 3. Yes, very good. Mushroom, because the more springs you have, the more like elastic potential energy is stored, right? So there'll be more force as well. Okay, again, similarly, if you stretch it more, there'll be more force as well. Okay, again, understand? Okay, imagine you want to pull, you want to stretch one spring. It's easy, right? Then you need to stretch two and three or three springs at a go. Okay, why is it more difficult to stretch two to three springs? Is because it needs to have more force. So same thing, because more springs means you exert more elastic spring force on the objects. Okay, can? All right. So yes, I'm gonna move on. Everyone, any questions for this? No. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Does a compressed or stretched spring has more force? Mushroom, depending on what you are comparing with. If you stretch it or compress more, then yes, it will exert more elastic spring force onto the object. Okay, okay? If you press it more, if you stretch it more, you must compare something. Then yes, then it will exert more elastic spring force. Okay? Okay, I'm gonna move on. This is P6 science, which also occasionally will go through P5 stuff. Okay, so let's look at your next question here. Okay, I'm gonna show you the top part of the question first. What do you mean by how do you state the property of the material? I don't get your question. What do you mean by you state? State means like state the property, strength, flexibility, depend on the question. Strength, flexibility, buoyancy, these are all different properties of the material. Uh yeah. Okay. So let's look at question 4. Okay, over here, okay, they say that the diagram shows an ice cream maker designed by Mr. Wong. So what happened is he wants to turn liquid M into an ice cream. So take note, turn liquid M into ice cream, and to find out which material are suitable for making the inner and outer can, he tested on the two materials. Okay, opaque means it doesn't allow light to pass through. Yes. Okay, everyone okay? But how come it's suddenly so random? Okay, we focus on this one first, okay? So he poured the same amount of ice into two containers made of material A and B, and then he placed them on a thin layer of water. Okay, so basically you can see that this is the liquid. You are supposed to make this into ice cream. So what do I mean? When I want to make this into ice cream means what state do I want it to turn into? Any idea? If I want to make it into ice cream, means what state I want to turn it into. Very good. Thank you for all your answers. Yes, solid, right? Because ice cream, ice. Okay, that means I want to turn it into a solid state. Okay, turn to solid. Okay, so, and the moment you see the word to find out, all right, this is the aim of my experiment. What can anyone tell me what's my changed variable here? Thank you for all your answers. What's the changed variable here? What do you think? Yes, very good studying. Thank you, Ivy, Mushroom, and Kai. All right, so the change variable is materials, right? So then what happened is that, okay, I'm gonna go, I shift it a bit, okay? So he actually placed, okay, the same amount of ice into these two containers, okay, and placed them onto a layer of water. All right, and he observed that the layer of water in setup 1 froze after 3 minutes, while setup 2 froze after 7 minutes. So from the results of the test, which material should Mr. Wong use for making the inner and outer cans of his ice cream maker? Now, you need to understand first, okay, when you want to make the inner and outer can, what property do you want this to have? Okay, can you first identify what topic do you think this is about? Yes, I saw someone say yes, heat, right? Heat and temperature, right? So based on heat, the topic on heat, this is about whether the materials are poor or good conductors of heat. Okay, so very good. Thank you, conductors of heat. Very good. All right, so based on this, can you tell me in terms of conductivity, right? Heat conductivity, would you for okay, outer can. Let's talk about the outer can first. Outer can is going to keep everything, right? It's gonna keep everything. The liquid is gonna hold on to the ice. Would I want it to be a poor or a good conductor of heat for outer can? You think carefully. Outer can. Oh, most of you say poor. Very good. Why? Because I don't want heat to go inside so quickly. I don't want heat to go inside quickly, okay? So I don't want this to be happening. Okay, so I want heat to flow in into the can slowly. Okay, I want heat to flow into the can slowly. Very good. So I want a poor conductor of heat. So based on this statement, okay, everybody, let me go down. So this one, set up 1 frost after 3 minutes, set up 2 frosts after 7 minutes. Which one is a poorer conductor of heat? Based on the results, which one do you think is a poor conductor of heat that I should put as the outer can? Okay, a lot of you say material B, which is set up 2. Okay, very good. Yes. Okay, why? Because 7 minutes, this is my measured variable. This is my MV, okay, measured variable. Okay, and what happens is that 7 minutes is long, it takes a longer time. Longer means it's slower. When you run a race and you take a longer time, means it's slower, right? You're slower. So slower. So this is a poorer, that means B is actually a poorer conductor of heat. All right, so I will put material B as the outer can. Okay, which also means that I will put material A as the inner can. Okay, why material A is the inner can? Let me just explain quickly. Okay, let me go down. Okay, so over here, what happens is that, okay, I have a liquid. All right, and I want the liquid to lose heat to the ice quickly so that my liquid can become ice cream quickly. Okay, so the liquid in a can, I want liquid to lose heat quickly. So that okay, so I will want a better conductor of heat, and that would be material A. Material A is a better conductor of heat. Okay, can? Yes, very good. Thank you for all your answers. Very good. Yes, lose it faster, lose it quickly. Yes, very good. So this will be the answer for part A. Okay, any questions for this one? For this one, part A? No? Okay, the Kahoot is later. Okay, let's move on, okay? So let's move on to B. So now we need to explain our choices in part A, which most of you have explained together with me. Okay, so basically for science, please remember when you explain your choice, right? Okay, you for this is a bit harder because you need to explain for both inner and outer can, not just one of them. Okay, so you need to explain for both. All right, so this one in the sentence will be a bit long. Okay, and when you explain, right, you always must remember DSL, 3 steps answering technique. Okay, some of your school teach CER is the same method. All right, so firstly, okay, you need to describe why did you choose that particular material based on the results. Tell me the results of the material. Okay, so let's talk about okay, hey Octopus, why you do that? Why are you promoting me? Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so based on the results, let's talk about why do we choose material A first, okay, for inner can. So why do you choose material A? Okay, you have to say that the water in setup 1 froze, use comparison words. You're comparing with 2 materials, so must use ER. Froze faster than setup 2. What does it show? Showing that material A it conducted heat from the water to the ice faster. Okay, and it's a better conductor of heat. So why would you use that? The better conductor of heat part is my second step, okay? Which is my science concept, all right, about the property of the material. Then followed by that, we need to link back to the question. Why would you choose a why would you choose a better conductor of heat to be made into the inner can? You need to say that so that the liquid can lose heat faster and you can freeze faster. All right? That will be for your, yes, A is a better conductor of heat than B. You're correct. Okay, so this is to explain for inner can. Then what about outer can? So for outer can, you have to restart everything again. Results property link. Okay, link back to the can. Okay, so you need to say that B is a poorer conductor of heat. Okay, so it will use as an outer can. Okay, so that the ice will gain heat from the surroundings slower. I don't want heat to enter my container that quickly. I don't want that to happen that quickly, okay? So heat from the surroundings will enter, or the ice will gain heat from the surroundings slower, and the ice in the can will melt slower. Okay, okay? All right. So yes, very good. Thank you for all the comparison words as well. Okay, so let me, you like ice cream? A lot of people like ice cream. Okay, so I'm going to write down the model answer, but please be very, very careful. We need to talk about inner and outer can. For this question, you need to talk about both. Okay, so you need to talk about the results first. You must have, which is your evidence. Okay, so you must say the water in set R1 containing material A froze faster than B. Okay, in setup 2. Okay, what does it show? Okay, showing that A conducted heat from the water to the ice faster and is a better conductor of heat. Okay, then you need to link. All right, thus the inner can will allow liquid or the liquid to lose heat to the ice faster and freeze faster. But you only talk about the inner can. So now you talk about the outer can. Okay, so you continue by talking about the outer can. They can say, while material B or while B is a better conductor of heat, poorer conductor of heat. So what happens? Okay, so it will also the outer can will conduct heat from the surroundings to the ice slower and the ice will melt. Huh? And the ice will melt slower. What do you mean? Write everything here. Yeah, you have to write. Because this one, this school question, right, actually tests you for actually require you to explain for both, unfortunately. But B, right, for B, when you're explaining for the outer can, right, because you already mentioned the difference already, so you don't have to mention your results again. You straight away go to property. Okay? Then the can. Alright, so I'm gonna highlight the key things. Okay, so I need to say that water froze faster than B in setup for material A, showing that it conducted heat from water to the ice faster. So it's a better conductor of heat. Then you have to say that the inner can will lose heat to the ice faster, so the ice can freeze faster. Okay, and but for B, it is a poorer conductor of heat, so the outer can will conduct heat surrounding to the ice slower, and the ice will melt slower. Because I don't want the ice inside to melt too fast. If not, then I will not be able to make my ice cream. Okay, can? Oh yeah, electrical systems also quite a lot to write, especially when there is your electromagnet involved. Okay, can? All right, I'm gonna move on. Anyone got any questions here? Yes, I watched Demon Slayer. Why? Yes, yes, Chloe. Is there what zero what? What is JJ Bar? No, I never watched that. What is JJ Bar? Today is Kahoot. Today got Kahoot. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Oh yes, 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 Nugget Cat. You're not wrong. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, this one is easy. If you want, you can send in your answers to me. Eh, why got all the short form? What is TSHD? There's way too many short form. CW. I don't think you're allergic to veggies. I'm pretty sure you're just the one to eat veggie. Okay, but let's move on again. Do y'all know the answers for this? Lucy held a toy, okay, in between her hands. All right, as shown below. She rotated the toy by sliding her hand forward and her left hand backwards before releasing it, and the toy flew to a certain height. Oh, yes, a lot of you say kinetic to gravitational potential energy. Yes, yes, very good. Okay, yes. I believe yours. And I hope that you all played this toy before. Have you all played this toy before? So what happened is this toy, you just have to like put the toy, there's a stick, and then to rotate it like this. And then you let it go, and then it will spin for a while, and it will so called fly for a while. Okay, so she rotated the toy by sliding her hands forward and her hands backwards like this. Okay, and what happened is the toy flew to a certain height, filling the boxes with the main form of energy. So the moment you see the keyword, the clues, very good. Thank you for all your answers. Okay, heat due to friction. That there is heat involved, but the heat is not converted. The heat from the sliding of hands is not this. We don't convert the heat to kinetic energy. That's why it is not written inside here. If we take the heat and the heat is used to convert to kinetic energy, then we put it here. Okay, but it's not used to convert to kinetic, so it's not mentioned here. Okay, okay? Okay, so over here, what happens is that, okay, yes, it's kinetic. Sliding of her hands is movement, right? So if it's movement, there is kinetic energy. And do not just write kinetic. Can I leave it like this? Or what should I add? There's something missing, right? If they never provide the word energy, you are supposed to write it down. Okay, don't, yes, very good. Thank you for all your answers. Okay, if they never write for you, please remember to write it down. Kinetic energy. Okay, rotating is also movement. So it's kinetic energy as well, converted to kinetic energy as well. Okay, and they already give you a clue, greater height. Height, the main energy that we are looking at is gravitational potential energy. I write gravitational on top because it's optional in PSLE. Okay, but potential energy is compulsory. Okay, so let me write this one here. potential energy. Okay, very good. Thank you for all your answers. Thank you. Hey, good job. All right, so at least you all know all the common mistakes. Okay, this one very straightforward. So let us move on to the next one. Yes, Kani. Yes, if an object has of a greater mass, there is more gravitational force acting on that object. Gravitational is optional. No, no, no. Force. Force is a gravity. You mean the potential energy? Gravitational force have to be specific. Gravitational potential energy is optional. If you write for the gravitational part, okay. But if you're talking about force, have to be specific. Okay. 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 So over here, let's look at B. Yeah. Sorry. Will you be penalized if you write elastic potential energy? Definitely. For this particular question, definitely, because there is no elastic items here. There's no spring, no rubber band, so definitely will get penalized if you write the wrong potential energy. Okay, okay? Okay? Yes. Okay, so let's look at this one over here. So let's look at B. Oh yeah, some people prefer to just write potential just in case you wrote the wrong potential energy, right? Yeah, it's fine. PSLE, as long as you mention potential energy, it's good enough. Okay, okay? All right, so let's look at B, the last question before the Kahoot. CW, if durian hits Newton's head, then poor Newton would have died, I believe. Then he will not have invented gravity. Then we will not learn about gravity. Okay, so let's move on to B, okay? Yes. Okay, so let's look at B. All right, so over here, okay? Yeah. Every week, every alternate weeks, but I believe this week is actually the last week I'll be seeing all of you, because I do every fortnight. That means alternate Tuesdays. So this week is the last week that I'm gonna see all of you after yeah, 30th, because why? Because 30th is because 30th is your science PSLE. Then y'all don't need to come for the live already. Yeah. Like, but I will switch to P4. I'll be teaching P4 science. So if y'all are very free, you want to talk to me, y'all can join the P4 live on the 30th of September. It'll be P4 science. There will still be, but it will be P4 science ready, not P6, because you'll finish your PSLE by then. By on the 30th. P5? P5 there will still be. P5 you mean on the P5 tomorrow there will be. But yeah. Then the 2 weeks later after yeah, also there will be P5 science. But let's talk about this one first, okay? So let's look at this B. Okay? Who go and change your name to my name? Hello? Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, Lucy attached a piece of plasticine at position X shown above. So now there is a piece of plasticine. She then rotated the toy again at the same starting position with the same amount of force. Okay, I'm gonna highlight the important things in PSLE. You're taking a PSLE soon. Underline key points. Whatever I highlight is good to underline during your PSLE. Okay, predict if the toy will fly higher, lower, or the same height after the toy has been released, and explain in terms of force why the toy flew at the predicted height. Okay? Okay, so now let's look at this. Okay, what do you think? No, 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 underline. Cannot use highlighter. That's why I say underline. Underline whatever I highlighted. Maybe you listen, you heard wrongly. Underline whatever I highlighted. So what do you think? Would it fly higher, lower, or do you think it was the same height? Huh? Wait, you think carefully, Now I put a piece of plasticine here. That means got extra thing, right? Imagine if you put extra thing. If you put extra thing there, do you and I do the same thing, I spin it with the same amount of force, what do you think will happen? More GPE, okay, you're not wrong, but more GPE means you'll go down. That means more kinetic, right? So you go down. But let's talk about forces. This is about forces. Okay, explain in terms of force. So during PSLE, read the question properly. Hello, explain in terms of forces. Read the, oh, why cannot use highlighter? Because it was smudged. They are actually going to scan your worksheet into the computer before marking. So if you use highlighter, it might smudge or it might interfere with your words. Okay, so just underline. Yeah, and don't use gel pen. Okay, use ballpoint. Okay, let me move on first. Okay, so over here, what happens is that I saw someone write the correct answer. Gravitational force. Because just now I remember I mentioned, okay, so what happened is that the toy would actually fly lower. I'm very sure you all know, right? The heavier the object, heavier, and I add plasticine, there's extra mass, additional mass on the toy. If I let it, I spin it and I let it go, there is this extra mass, heavier objects will not go so high. It'll be lower. Why is it lower? Because more mass means that there will be more gravitational force. Okay? Oh, then you must be careful with your underlining, okay? More gravitational force. So when there's more gravitational force, there'll be more opposing force. Gravitational force is a what? It's a pulling force, right? It's pulling the toy down. Okay, but even though you spin and when you spin, it's trying to go up, but there's more opposing force, so it will go lower, it will fly lower than before. Okay? All right. So let's look at this one, okay? So you need to say, hi. Hi, the one with the star. So explain two steps answering technique for this one, because this one is not an experiment. So 2 steps is good enough. D means you need to describe what happens when I add a plasticine. Okay, talk about mass. There will be more mass. Then your science concept. Okay, what does it got to do with any force? Please remember, mass has something to do with our gravitational force. Okay. Okay, so friction. How can you talk about friction now? We're talking about gravitational force here, okay? Okay, so over here, yeah, yeah. Monkey D Luffy. I prefer Ace. Okay, so over here, all right, with the plasticine attached. So everybody, you must mention that when there's plasticine, okay, attached, comma, you have to say that the toy will have more mass. Okay, there is, talk about the mass first. All right, then, and oh, you don't learn quantum physics in secondary school. And more gravitational force will act on the toy. So there is more opposing force against motion. Okay, so you need to say that there's more force going against your motion, which is going up. So if there's more force against motion, that's why it flies at a lower height. Okay, can? All right. So let me move on to highlighting the key points. Okay, so for this, you need to say that there will be more mass, so more gravitational force will act on the toy. So there's more opposing force against motion. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna do the Kahoot soon. Any questions? Huh? Give you the answer for PSLE. I don't even know the PSLE like questions at all. Yes, yes, that's a good advice. You need to always be careful. Read all. Okay, just a gentle reminder for PSLE science. Okay, be it whatever subjects you are doing. Look at all the options in your MCQ, all the 4 options before selecting one. Especially for science, right? two of the options can be very, very similar. Okay, they just change one or two words. Then the meaning of the options actually changed a little bit. Okay, so you must read the options properly. All right, okay? Okay? What's the difference between gravitational potential energy? I thought I said this many times during life. Potential energy is stored energy. It's energy that an object has, not moving. It's not moving. It's not moving. All right. So, what opposing force? Opposing force is a force going against motion. So if you are going left, then friction is an example of opposing force. Why is it opposing? Because it's going against the direction you are moving in. That's why you call it opposing. Okay? So the toy wants to fly up. The toy want to fly up, right? Want to fly higher. But because of the extra plasticine, there is more mass. So there's more gravitational pull, which is going opposite of motion, right? The toy want to go up. The gravity is pulling it down. So we call it opposing force. So it opposes motion. That's why and then it managed to pull the toy lower because there's more opposing force, more pulling force. Okay, can? But we don't say pulling force here, we must say opposing. Okay, can? Okay, can? All right. Yes, energy is stored. Potential energy is what an object has inside of it. Okay? Gravitational, take note, an object like this toy does not have gravitational force. It has gravitational potential energy, but it doesn't store gravitational force inside of it. Gravitational force is is an external force that Earth exerts and pull the toy down. So that's the difference. Okay? This object doesn't store any gravitational force. Earth pull the object down. That is your gravitational force. Okay, okay? Alright. So yes, I will remember you because you are using my name. Okay, everybody. I'm gonna start with the Kahoot, the website. If you're heavier, you don't have gravitational force. I repeat, you cannot have gravitational force because gravitational force is what Earth does on you. Like this is you. Okay? You are always wanting to float. Okay, if there's no gravity, you'll be floating. You always you wanted to float around, right? But Earth don't want you to float around. Earth pulls you down. Okay? You don't have gravitational force. Earth use the force and pull you down. That's called gravitational force. Okay, okay? Okay? Alright, so that's the difference. Okay? Yes, we don't have the gravitational force. Alright? But if you are heavier, imagine an elephant is floating. Okay? And you are Earth. You need to apply a greater force to hold the elephant down. Okay, so that's why I say more mass, the Earth need to pull you down harder to make sure you stick to the ground. Okay, that's why we say more mass means more gravitational force acting on the object. Okay, can? All right, okay, let's look at the Kahoot first, okay? You put the last three questions in Chinese, I will never know how to answer. Okay, so okay, so I'm gonna start the Kahoot soon. So just a gentle reminder. Okay, stay tuned for the giveaway. A gentle reminder, okay? Let me explain how it works first, okay? So everybody, let me explain how it works first. All right. So for the Kahoot, hello. Wow, so sweet of you. I love my teachers. That's very sweet. Okay, so everybody, I wanna give you the instructions for the Kahoot first. So can y'all please look at these instructions? Okay, later when I share my screen and show you the Kahoot, please make sure that you know these instructions. Okay, if you are the top three winner after the Kahoot, please take a screenshot. Remember, take a screenshot. Okay, take a screenshot. Okay, with your results. All right, so take a screenshot and then should be and then you send it to the above instructions there. Okay? Okay, give me a moment. Let me launch the Kahoot. Okay, hold on. My Kahoot is loading. Wait. The Kahoot is loading. It's still loading the QR code. So after it load, then I share to you all. Okay. Okay, but y'all take a screenshot of the instructions first, everybody. Okay, take a screenshot of the instructions before I start. Okay, screenshot already? Okay? Okay, Why? Okay, anyway, right, since I wouldn't be seeing y'all again unless y'all join the P4 science as well. I wish you all the best for all your upcoming PSLE, okay? Okay. Yeah, it's a bit slow today. I don't know why. Hey, what you say? All the best, okay? Why? What one digit means what? AL1? All the ALs are one digit. What are you talking about? Okay, let me share my screen. It finally loaded. Okay. So okay, everybody remember if you are top three, take a screenshot and send a DM of the screenshot, send it to AGrader LC or send it to the number provided there. Okay? So let me start and I share my screen to you all. Let me put down the instructions, okay? So y'all don't need it. Now the code is over there. Okay, I type in it for y'all through the chat since y'all keep asking. Wait, it's over there. Wait, let me send it to you through the chat. Oh no, hope that you are better now. I sent the code already. Let me pin it, okay, so y'all can see. Okay, I'm gonna start. Only 43 of you join. Okay, I'm gonna start soon, okay? Okay, everybody, I'm gonna start. Don't wait too long. Okay, y'all can join halfway later. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, start. All the best. You can join halfway. Oh, okay, most. Okay, must remember if it reproduces by laying eggs, that doesn't guarantee that it's an insect. It could be like a fish, it could be a reptile, an amphibian, and so on, or a bird. Okay, so please be very careful. So insects must have unique characteristics, which is 3 body parts and 6 legs. Okay, can the code has been given to you already. Okay. Let me key in again, okay? Okay. Let me move on. Wow, okay. You're the first. Oh, why so? Hey, plant B, everybody. Plant B bears fruit, so it's flowering. Okay, so take note that this one, hey, yeah, it's supposed to be. Oh no, this one I think there's some error there. Okay, it doesn't grow on land, so it's supposed to be W. Yeah. Okay, never mind. We move on to the next one, okay? Cannot restart. Everyone know the answer already. No, this is P6. But we P6. Ayo, I say how many times? P6 consists of all the other levels. Okay. Skeletal. Oh, so we have digestive, muscular, and skeletal system. Very good. Reproductive systems is not involved at all when a person is eating his snack. Okay, Ken? Oh goodness. Why you forget everything? Cannot do it later. Hey, animal dispersal. Please remember fruits that are dispersed by animals, okay, must have hook-like structure to hook onto the fur of the animals. Okay? Pod-like structure is explosive action, which is fruit-wise explosive. And fruit X is wing-like structure. Wing is dispersed by wind. Wind dispersal, not animal. Fruit X is by wind. Okay? So let me press next. Oh no, Lucas. Then you study hard, okay? Okay, most of okay. How do I? Okay, some of you actually chose other things. Okay, always remember population means what? Population means that they must belong to the same life cycle to be considered as a single population. Okay, so what happened is a tree is one. Okay, spider, butterfly, caterpillar is together with the butterfly. So at the moment, it's still three: tree, spider, butterfly, caterpillar, squirrel, and then your staghorn fern. Okay, not six. All right, so because butterfly and caterpillar belong to the same life cycle. Okay, so they are considered one population. All right, so okay, so take note of this important thing. It's okay. All the best. There are about 8 questions. The life is, we do have life every day, but not science every day. Like almost every day, Monday to Fridays, if I'm not wrong. But it's different subject, different levels. I think this is the number 6. Really, octopus? That's good. When is PSLE science? On the 30th. Okay, please remember, okay, rice is considered a solid state. Alright, so solid have a fixed shape, it will be W. Alright, okay, it doesn't have a fixed shape but has a definite volume, is liquid, is X. X is oil, then followed by oxygen, which is the last one, which is Y. Okay, Ken? Because oxygen has no definite volume, no definite shape. Okay, oh, what do you mean, the life? I'll be doing P for 2 Tuesdays later. Yeah. Yeah, 2 Tuesdays later on the 30th. I no longer doing P6 on the 30th. Okay? Okay, this question number 7. Okay, most of you got it correct. Okay, oil spills is not due to forestation. Not due to deforestation, okay? All right? And so very good. No, this is not pure geography. It's actually part of man's impact on the environment. Very similar to geography, yes. Last one. You have to choose more than one. Yeah, you can join, but this is the last question already. Okay. Well, okay, most of you chose the correct one, everybody. Okay, if you want to investigate how potential energy of the block depends on the height, right? My height must be my change variable. Okay, height affects potential energy. So A and C has different height, but the rest remains the same. So it will be a fair test. Setups B and D, the blocks are of different height, and the rest remains the same. So it will be a fair test as well. So A, C, and A and C is accepted. B and D are also accepted. Okay. So, okay, those of you who are in top 3, y'all take a screenshot. Hurry up, take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. Okay. Take a screenshot. Are you sure? Sometimes it's really by speed also. Okay, everyone okay? Take a screenshot. The price I'm not very I'm not very sure what they're giving out already. So y'all take a screenshot. One more game cannot really. Then you send it over, okay? Okay. Difference between hypothesis and prediction. Basically, hypothesis means is There's not much difference actually between hypothesis and prediction. Okay, Ken? Hey, CW, why you like that? Okay, anyway, all the best for your upcoming PSLE, okay? Yes, it's over. Okay, those of you who still don't know what to do, you all can yeah, do this. Oh no, octopus. It's okay. Hey, you got win before. You win before, right? Did you? Hey, bye. All the best for your PSLE. Oh, cannot. I cannot do any additional games. Okay. So sorry. Bye bye. See ya. Bye bye. All the best for your PSLE. Bye. 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 All the best. Welcome. Bye bye.